Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Christmas Eve, Friday, December 23rd, around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 2022. There is the once-in-a-generation bomb cyclone bombing out. Currently the lowest pressure the system has seen since its inception, 967 millibars. This is equivalent to a Cat 2 hurricane on land in winter in eastern Canada. And that's the big story. Arctic cold outbreak to last through Christmas in the Midwest, South, and the East. Like a beast. Keep calm. It's boom time. Now, behind this bomb cyclone is some deep Arctic air. Widespread, bitterly cold air has engulfed much of the central and eastern U.S. and is now just making its way down to Florida. The Arctic blast engulfs the East Coast. Dangerously low wind chills expected, and snow emergencies abound. At least 9 dead as of now, as the massive winter storm leaves more than 1 million without power and bitter cold across much of the U.S. You do not want to be without power and unprepared in this situation. And there are, in fact, 500,000 in the Northeast and 500,000 in Eastern Canada currently in the dark, and our prayers go out to them. Now, as of the 9 dead, 8 of them are from car crashes in 3 states, and 1 was a frozen homeless person. So if you know people in need, please. It is the season of pleasing. Denver records the coldest temperature since 1990. Denver dropped to minus 24 degrees, the coldest recorded temperature in the city in exactly 32 years. And it was not alone. There were hundreds of cold records being broken across the United States. Very few warm records there. 1 warm record for every 100 cold records. And these records of cold going all the way down to central Mexico. And by tomorrow, the records are going to be covering Florida. And it is going to be, a Christmas to remember in South Florida. Winter storm in the U.S. and Canada causes power outages for thousands, hundreds of thousands. Here we can see 258,000 without power alone in Maine. 108,000 in New Hampshire. It's insane. And over 500,000 just in the Northeast here. And these numbers will increase through tomorrow. Total outages at 500,000 in Canada, most of them in Quebec. 100,000 in Ontario just about, but 350,000 are without power in Quebec as it is currently getting smashed by that bomb cyclone. Take a look. And we move that through. They don't have much respite for the next 12 hours. That's going to move through that area, make its way to the Maritimes, and slowly break up. But the winds are going to remain in the Great Lakes all the way through to Monday morning. So heads up, that's when another system comes into the Pacific Northwest, which is going to literally pummel the Pacific Northwest. Let's take a look at the snowfall totals, shall we? But before we get to the snow forecast, wicked winds and heavy rain is battering Maine, flooding roadways, which will soon, as of now, will become black ice. So that death toll will rise. Now here's the bad news. Delays, cancellations are continuing at Miami, FLL, amid nationwide bomb cyclone, and that is not the only place. So far, over almost 7,000 with 700 international flights canceled. That's crazy. There have been over 5,200 cancellations nationwide, and just 2,900 of those were international flights. So thousands of canceled flights, and people trying to get somewhere are going to be stuck in an airport for the holidays. And so are your packages. 89 post offices closed as massive winter storm disrupts last-minute holiday deliveries. If you were going to wait in line today to mail something, in 89 locations, that was not possible. And now FedEx and UPS are warning severe winter storm could delay holiday packages, and airlines are cutting more flights. Now here we see more than 6,000 U.S. flights have been canceled, 20,000 flights delayed. Hey, here are the snowfall totals as of this morning at 6 a.m., and these are much different in the Northeast as of now and in many locations. But the big winner so far has been Colorado, the northern mountains here with over 36 inches. Mild snow totals up in the Poconos. Was the big winner in Pennsylvania this morning, but that snow is now widespread, especially in the Great Lakes region, where heavy snow and blizzard conditions existed all day. Now we're talking wintry precipitation, and bitter cold temperatures will continue for many parts of the nation all the way until the day after Christmas, and for some even beyond. Dangerously cold wind chills will continue for much of the eastern two-thirds of the country through the holiday weekend. In addition, significant lake effect snow, blizzard condition, and coastal flooding are expected downwind of the Great Lakes, where several feet of snow may accumulate. For the Pacific Northwest, freezing rain and snow will result in dangerous travel conditions, followed by a blizzard walloping. We've already looked at the forecast here, and there you can see that the system moving into the Pacific Northwest, which is going to drop down, bringing heavy snow to the region. Let's walk it through. Here's your Saturday. So it's going to be heavy lake effect snow. You can see that coming in there. Let me just get rid of that annoying latitude and longitude readout. It's gone. But you could see some of the Great Lakes snow belt regions could be picking up 16 to 36 inches over the next few days. But not much more snow in the Northeast, except for potentially Maine, and Vermont there. And we've got a little lag here on the snow. Starting to get bogged down here. By December 29th and New Year's coming in right here, this is the pattern for the West. It's going to be deep, and deep indeed. Here is through January 8th. We're talking 5 to 12 feet of snow for the Pacific Northwest in the U.S. It looks like up to 8 feet of snow in the Sierras in some places. And so these models could be bringing an end to the drought in many regions here. Definitely severe drought, but could mean that the snowpack is going to build so deep this early in the winter, we could be looking at flooding problems in the spring. Ding, ding. Shut up, Al! Get your hole! Oh, he's already frozen in a glacier. Let's take a look at that frozen glacier analysis. Here we are. Let's bring it through to right now. This is the temperatures right now. The entire state of Texas is below freezing and will remain there for up to 48 hours. Take a look. Some of the southern tips coming out of freezing there in the morning. But this plume is going to move into Florida overnight, and by tomorrow morning, it is going to be in the 40s in Miami, and half of the state of Florida, over half of the state of Florida will be below freezing, and the iguanas will begin to fall. So that's the beginning of the iguana apocalypse. It's going to last for 2-3 days, and the peak will be tomorrow morning through Christmas Day and Christmas morning. That is amazing. Look at that. Right there. That is the Iguana Apocalypse 2022. And we could be looking for one in February in 2023. But the big story is the extreme cold in a dozen states in the northern tier here that's going to remain extremely cold. A lot of people haven't felt this type of cold for an extended period of time for quite some time. And we're talking a dozen states below zero for over 24 hours. Hours of powers. And it is only going to slowly relent through the 26th. And the 27th here, and maybe warming up here on the 29th. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And here's the numbers from Antarctica. This is the temperature trend in Antarctica for the last 45 years. And there is no change in temperature in Antarctica, no matter what anybody says. This is the data set. Seismic update. No quakes of note. All is quiet on the... Oh, what just happened there? Let's take a look at that. That is new. And let's just go to the SAT. Okay, this isn't any imminent volcano, but there are certainly volcanoes in the region of this quake. And we've seen an uptick in quakes in the Pacific Northwest. Let's go over to the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and see what they have to say. Here we are at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, and we can see that St. Helens is now coming in with 30 earthquakes in 30 days, 11 earthquakes in the last 30 days for Rainier, and 4 earthquakes in the last 30 days for Hood. There is no uptick on any of the volcanoes in this region. We can see an uptick here at the Mendocino Triple Junction, and that is nothing of concern. That's actually good news, releasing pressure on all of the faults in this region, but not a megathrust event, the big earthquake we saw there. Just a transverse strike slip fault energy release, which is good news for those that are worried. If you're worried, though, it is inevitable, so get out of Dodge. Worldwide volcano news update. Popo, Tucono, Reventador, Sangay, Fuego. Fuego to 17,000 feet on Christmas Eve. We've got Sangay to 19,000, Ducono puffing to 8,000, Popo to 19, Reventador to 15. And we do have some increased activity here. Semaru in East Java, continuous volcanic activity. And Santa Huito volcano in Guatemala, activity. Growing lava dome is shedding hot, glowing avalanches. What a great place to camp for the holidays. Taupo volcano, there is still some unrest there. Its current status is listed 2 out of 5 restless. And it really hasn't been ever raised to that level in human history, I think. So that's quite significant. But we can see some seismicity increasing over the last 24 hours. Some people were contacting me saying, what do I think? I think that this has to get to hundreds, if not thousands of earthquakes in a 24-hour period to worry about an imminent eruption, and we just haven't gotten there. We were close back early in December here. We had a seismic swarm that was looking, well, quite impressive, but it quickly died off in 48 hours. Well, we'd be looking for something like this increasing and moving up to the surface, and then we would get the boom. So we're keeping a close eye on Topo. Topa for you. I know you want me to say it correctly. Solar Ham is back up and running, and no one is bumming. It looks great. The latest HMI intensity showing a few sunspots on the northern tier, peppering the disk, but very little activity coming our way. Solar flares down in the B range as if we were in solar minimum rather than solar max. Now, we do have a 3-day geomagnetic forecast up in the KP45 range, and that we have been in KP4.5 for quite some time, and even the College Station pushed us all the way up to KP7 for 3 hours just about 12 hours ago. So we have been in minor geomagnetic storm thanks to a coronal hole, which is now past us. And so no other geomagnetic activity is expected except maybe low level or minor conditions, which is good news. Now, some more good news. The entire book, Richard Firestone, Alan West, Simon Warwick and Smith, The Cycle of Cosmic Catastrophes, Flood, Fire, and Famine in the History of Civilization, is now yours for free. Yes. The 416-page book will be linked below in PDF form, so please gobble it up. Lee and I will be discussing chapters 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 maybe tomorrow on the radio show, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Studio B at 12 noon, like a boom. And we'll replay it tomorrow night on Magnetic Reversal News. Now, some interesting stuff we want to talk about here. Mike Hudema, who is hashtag climate campaigner focusing on addressing the climate crisis, building green jobs, and the Green New Deal. Let's join together and change the world. He is clueless about science, especially when it comes to climate. And he says here that bomb cyclones occur when excessive heat pushes cold air somewhere else. Mike, that is not what a bomb cyclone is. And all you have to do is hashtag Google bomb cyclone. Search Google for bomb cyclone. See how I did that? And then you can probably get a definition, which has nothing to do with what you just said. Bomb cyclones are defined by how rapidly the pressure drops in the low pressure mass, period. It has nothing to do with global warming or anything you said. And I disproved you in 14 seconds. You want to know more amazing information? Come check out Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave on Twitter, where we faceplant many of these alarmists in the public eye. Notice how we're not following this idiot. You shouldn't be either. Now, Swarm, ESA Swarm, the European Space Agency Swarm probes the weakening Earth's magnetic field. And what they found was that, well, the magnetic field has been weakening and moving rapidly since the Carrington event. And the meridional flow and these extreme cold events that we're experiencing have nothing to do with you and have everything to do with the sun. the sun shutting down, which is why we have a channel on the interwebs called solar shutdown, because magnetic reversals occur when the sun shuts down. In this case, we are only able to say we're in a magnetic excursion, but in either case, it means bad things to come. But for now, happy holidays to you and yours, whether you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or Festivus. It's all up to you. But the point of the holidays is to gather with family and the ones that matter the most, and to share your love. And that's a boon. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. We hope you're all happy and warm and safe because you prepared.